Okay, we are recording. So we are, God, June 10th. Ugh, I cannot believe we're already June. Right, let me screen share really quick. I want to thank you guys first and foremost for getting on this call, because it definitely gets a little frustrating when I open it up and sometimes it's just me and I'm like, where did everybody go? All right, all right. I just want to go over some of these updates. So we have the expanding into the UK. Do any of you guys talk to anybody on Facebook or anything that's in the UK? Okay. Yeah, I do too.
One person that found me on Instagram who's been following me and is so excited for it.
Good. Okay, good. Yeah, because I have some people that I was talking to. And one girl in particular who was just like, God, I can't wait for the Chickology to come to the UK. I tried it because I sent her a sample just for her to try it, even though she was there, just so she would be able to try it. Because if I had to work something out to where it came here and we mailed it to her or whatever, I actually did that for the Ultimate Reset for one of my customers that lives in Canada, because they can't get the reset in Canada and she wanted to do the Ultimate Reset. So she paid for it, had it shipped here, and then I mailed it to her. And then I told her how much it was to mail it, and then she PayPal'd me the money to mail it so she can do it. So make sure that you're chatting with anybody that you have talked to in the past, going to the UK or whatever. He's being so silly. And make sure they know that this is coming. So then that way, if they do want to try it, you can send them a sample, whatever. But it is coming. And then we all know about Shaun T Week starting on Monday. Everybody's doing it, right? Okay. And then July 19th, I believe, is the date. Is it July 19th or June 19th? We can preview Shift Shop. So isn't it right after Shaun Week, we can preview Shift Shop? Yeah. So then you'll have the preview of that. So I would suggest for the preview, what I find is best for when a new program is coming out is videotape yourself when you do your workout, or go live, either or. Let them have a little tiny taste, a little sneak peek of what the workout's going to look like a couple of the moves in the workout. So then that way they can see, what Shift Shop is all about. They can see you doing it, because they might have seen the infomercials, but it's different when they see you doing it. So do that. And then we have the membership changes, don't forget, that happened on June 1st. So we have all those Beachbody membership changes that had happened. If you're not sure what ones those are, just go into the FAQ and type in on-demand changes, and it'll pop up and you'll be able to find it.
Tanya, I'm confused about some of the changes. Like, I don't understand if everybody has all access now.
Yes.
What happens to the people that paid for the upgrade? Are they just like out of luck?
Yeah, because it ends up being a little cheaper now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because now they didn't have to pay for the upgrade. They are just paying straight. So these people were paying straight club fees, and then they had to pay for the upgrade.
Well, when you paid for the upgrade, they minus what you paid for. Like, so if you were paying quarterly and you paid the $38.87, you just paid the difference. So it's as if, like, I wanted to pay the $100 to buy the all access and I never had on demand, I would pay the $100. If I was paying the $38.87,
now you're breaking up.
I just paid the difference of the $100 and the $38. So it still ends up being the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It still ends up being the same.
You're so pretty. You're so pretty. Can we put some clothes on you?
All right. So I'm going to open this up to Nat so she can talk to us about the topic that she wanted to discuss with us. Our guest speaker. All right, I'm going to mute my line, Nat, so you guys can't hear anything in the background here, so everybody will be able to hear you.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. All right, so I'm going to talk about the power of not giving up. I know that we've all at some point or another have, struggled with something like this. So I'm just going to talk about, my experience and just me on this whole journey. You really have to think about what motivates you and what pushes you to keep going to hit whatever goal that you want to hit. When I was pregnant and when I gained even more weight than what I had before getting pregnant, I was at the heaviest I've ever been in my life. There was a few times, prior that I would gain weight, but I could lose it really quickly. I think just the younger I was, the easier it was. And I knew that things would be different. They already were, just being older and about to have my daughter. The whole pregnancy, I knew I was going to do whatever I had to do to lose the weight and get healthy. I didn't want anything to hold me back from raising her. And that's where my perseverance came in. After the C-section, I couldn't work out right away. I could barely walk up and down the stairs. I'd also fallen down the stairs shortly after that. Thought I broke my ankle, the worst pain. But I pushed as hard as I could because there was only one thing on my mind, and that was to lose the weight and get healthy. This is where when I started my journey and talking to Tanya, I would just start walking. I couldn't do the workouts, but I was just walking, just doing whatever I could to because I wanted to hit that goal. I had every excuse not to give up. But giving up would only put me back into a place where I wasn't happy and I wasn't healthy. And I wanted to give my daughter everything, including the ability to learn about a healthy lifestyle. Giving up would have meant that I wouldn't be happy looking at myself in pictures with her. I hated the way I looked. I was, and I didn't want that. You guys know I've talked about that before. So that just wasn't an option for me. She's my reason why I push as hard as I do. Don't get me wrong. We splurge. I'm not perfect. I haven't been perfect, but I know when to get back on track. And sharing my journey definitely, as you guys know, keeps us accountable to not give up also. Because not only do I not want to give up on myself, I don't want to fail in front of my world, especially my Facebook world. But fast forward to today, and now that we have this fitness business, where not only that we have others who count on us to be there for them, we also are still working on ourselves. And I've learned that you must be comfortable being uncomfortable. Push your limits no matter what. Just like me, the first time I shared my transformation pictures, that was the hardest thing for me to do. To show anybody just my most vulnerable self. But you don't realize that in the moment that the feeling of wanting to give up will pass. And this reminded me, when I heard this, it reminded me of the Will Smith video that Tanya posted. I don't know if you guys saw it, about the skydiving thing. Where did you get that? A blueberry. So the skydiving thing he was talking about is you could think about something and just all the fear that you feel about that one thing, and it's like, and so the skydiving thing, and it was the same. It's very true. So you're so scared, the plane door opens, and at that point, like, there's no turning back. Like, you've got to go, and the freaking guy pushing you to go. But once you're falling, like, you don't have that fear. It's the most incredible feeling, falling to freaking earth, like where you could die, but it's the fear that you just have to push through that fear. We know family and friends are the most important part in your life to not let you give up. My husband's always on my ass to help me stay strong and not eat the stuff that he eats. I don't get on him to eat that stuff. If that's what he wants to do, fine. During dinners, if he wants mac and cheese, I won't eat the mac and cheese. But he does. He's definitely on top of me about things. So a failure isn't always a mistake. It may simply be the best one can do under the circumstances, but the real mistake is when you stop trying. So you just got to keep going. There have been many times that I've thought about giving up in this business, But the way I see it is I refuse to give up on my personal journey. So why not still do the best I can do and still share my life and my story? There's 3 main reasons why you should never give up. 1, the strength to succeed is within you. We might all have obstacles, but the strength is never lost. 2, you are an example of others, whether you realize it or not. When asked about setting an example, Albert Einstein replied, "Setting an example is not the main means of influencing others. It's the only means." You never know what impact you're having on other people when you don't give up. Be the example of what it looks like to chase your dreams, and don't ever give up. 3, by never giving up, you can change the world. I think about if I never shared my journey and shared that this is possible, would I have not helped all these other people that wanted help and wanted to change their lives? So anyways, I think that's all I have, really. But we know basically giving up, you shouldn't give up unless there's really nothing else that you could do, and you pretty much put it in God's hands. But we know, especially on our fitness journeys, that there should be nothing that stops us.
I could not agree more. I could not agree more. And in all honesty, like when I started the whole coaching thing, I just used that to hold me accountable so I didn't give up, because I felt like, okay, I put it out there that I decided to be a coach. And now if I sit here and I don't post, and I still do it today, like if I really don't feel like working out, I'm like, but you know what? If I don't post, people are going to think like I died or something, because I post since I started every single day. The only time I didn't is when I had surgery, and then I posted about that. I still went for a walk or something. So if I post, look at Owen, he looks like Titanic. I'm on top of the world.
That's what he's saying. He said, "I'm the king of the castle."
Oh, geez. So that was awesome, because I totally agree. And I loved when I saw that Will Smith video. I had to share that, because it's like the things that he says are so perfectly true. Like, would I ever jump out of a plane? Nope. I can honestly say I would never, ever jump out of a plane. People say never say never. I will say I will never. It's hard to get me in a plane to stay in the plane, let alone to jump out. But what he was meaning by that, of like the fear, because his friends were doing it. He didn't want to be the only one not doing it. He ended up like experiencing something that he would have never experienced. You know, and you even said you did it twice. And you said,
I'm not the king of
I was scared. I was more scared the second time.
Really?
Like, how can I be more scared? Like, I already experienced it, you know?
right.
And again, when you get out and you fall, and it was like the feeling of like euphoria, you know, like it's crazy. So it's like, why was I so scared? Like, I knew what an amazing feeling it was, you know?
It's probably because our mom mind comes on, and then you start going through.
Well, I wasn't a mom yet then. I don't know. But you're right. Now I feel like I'm scared to go on roller coaster.
Yeah. I was going to say, knowing myself, my mom mind would have kicked in, you know, and I would have been telling myself all the possible things that could have gone wrong. You know, I do that to myself all the time, and then I scare myself into experiencing things, because I call that my mom brain. You know, that kicks in.
And I just thought of something else I wanted to talk about. So it's like with the business portion too, and you know, like I said, being comfortable, being uncomfortable. You know that for me to, you know, invite people and add people, you know that I was freaking so scared to do that.
That's the one conversation we would have all the time. And you're like, I'm like, are you adding people? Because you're like, I don't understand what's going on. I'm like, but are you adding people? You're like, no. I'm like, there you go.
Like, yeah, I did 2 people this week.
Good.
Like now I'm like, you know, I'm really, and I try, and it's what I try to tell my people who want to grow the business. They never do, but they were too scared. But it's like, when you know that you can help other people, change their life. And look, the picture that I posted last night,
which was awesome, by the way.
Thank you. Like, and I'm still not where I want to be, but when I look back, obviously I would have never posted a freaking picture of me before in a bathing suit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Can I share that post?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep, I'm the same way. There's like, my stomach isn't what I want in certain things, and for me to even
That's yours. I gave it to you.
midriff is showing is a big deal. People don't know that about me. People think I'm completely confident, love my body. You could ask Alex. I complain all the time. I don't like parts of my legs. I don't like this. I don't like this. He tells me I'm crazy, but I still post them because I feel like we have to share all aspects of our journey, even the aspects we're uncomfortable with, because that's the only way we could be unselfish about what we have. I feel like what we have, which can be on this tiny little thing, to share with people, is so selfish if we don't.
That was a dapper fellow on your phone there.
I know, isn't he quite handsome? He's going. He's up early because he's getting ready to get on the Harley and go ride around in the mountains with his buddy.
So, the thing that you said about the business building part, because I'm already at the place in my personal journey where I'm like, no matter how shitty I feel, working up to the workout, once I actually hit the button, I'm good.
Right.
With the business, I'm mentally there. It's actually taking this and putting it here,
Right.
like into the computer and stuff. And I have a hard time. Like, I haven't given up, all my with Tanya and stuff. She knows I haven't given up. I have like the goals in my head, and I know my why, and my why keeps getting stronger every day, because I just feel like, my primary why is obviously the financial security to, have I don't need to be rich and, a world traveler, but I want to be able to be financially secure for my kids. And I would eventually like it to bring me home, but every day the work end of my why gets stronger, because I feel less and less appreciated in my corporate job than I do here, but my hard time is actually, getting people to, like, they're always like rooting me on. You're doing great. You're doing this, you're doing that. And when I'm like, so join me, because I'm nobody special. Like, I'm not the superwoman person that had this like, revelation. I came about it very organically, but I have a really hard time getting them to come with me, but that doesn't mean anything as far as me giving up. It just frustrates me.
Right.
So like I've almost gotten to the point where I'm going to let my journey do my business.
Yep.
And stop trying to make it a business.
I was just gonna say that to you. Because that's how I try to explain to everybody that comes into the business. I try to teach them how I built my business, which was, in all honesty, doing exactly what I do now. When I do my workouts, I post about it. When I drink my shake, I post about it. I post why. When, the fact that I'm able to come to this cabin, not have to ask for time off of work, still be able to get a little bit of my work done each day, so I'm still focusing, because it doesn't feel like work because I enjoy it. Like, I just share all that stuff. And after a while of the consistency at the beginning, it was hard. Because when I was starting the second time, because remember, this is my second time coaching. I had a business center before. I closed it and opened it back up. So the second time around, I knew I wanted to build the business. So it took me a while Like I would compare myself to other people and I'm like, gosh, like when they think of this person, they automatically think health and fitness. So they're going to go right to that person for questions and blah, blah, blah. It took me a long time for people to start thinking Tanya, health and fitness, you know, like to put those two together. It takes so much time of just that daily consistency. Like you've been when you're posting your workouts and stuff like that. And the fact that you're doing Cheat 25 completely amazes me because you normally don't do those workouts that push you to your limit. And the fact that you just decided to do that all on your own, that shows a big growth in your personal journey. Because normally
I was tired of just kind of coasting.
Right? You normally do the country heat. Or when size came out, you would do the size one. So the fact that you picked to do T25 and step up your journey is a big deal. And what I love is that you're sharing that. Like, okay, when you went live and you were talking about Energize, you didn't realize, but you were sharing a part of your journey, how you normally see me do my dancing, but I wanted to step up my game. I wanted to do something that was gonna push me a little bit past my limits. So you're sharing that. You know how many people can relate to just you saying that little bit when you went live about the fact that, you know, you felt like, okay, I'm done taking what is now the easy route for me of doing dancing and I'm ready to do something hard. You know what I mean? There's other people that can relate to that. There's other people that are going to the gym and walking the treadmill and they've been doing that for 2 years and that's all they do. And they've plateaued that now they can relate to that. And they're like, oh, now she's doing this and it's only 25 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So it's
right. And I'm telling them like, look, I'm not doing Shanti, I'm doing Tanya. But still, you know, like.
But the fact that you used to modify Tanya and now you're not. Now you're just doing Tanya.
And now with the Energizer, like what I try and do is like I modify all of the buildups, and then when he does the burnout, I try and do as much of the burnout unmodified as I can, which is usually like a minute. But it used to be 0. Right. It used to be 0. I used to not even attempt it, you know?
Right.
So.
Yeah. So you just need to be, what you need to just focus on. Yes, I want you to still do parts of the business, like do your PD every day. Because as much as people think that doesn't help, that so helps. Like I can't wait.
No, that's what changed it. That's exactly what changed it, because I went from reading all of this like business focused PD, and I told you this, Tanya, I went from reading all this business focused PD that right now I'm reading the Expectation Hangover, and I'm listening to the Expectation Hangover, and I'm reading let me tell you what it's called, because I actually really
the
like
Expectation Hangover. I'm glad that you downloaded that one after I told you about it. That's one I do too. I'll actually listen to it while I take my shower and stuff today, so I can get my PD.
Yeah, on Kindle, I'm watching, listen to me. I'm reading, it's called The 7 Habits, Life is What You Make It, Your Mind Matters. It's the series is called The 7 Habits for Feeling Good.
I have a couple of those books on my Kindle. They're awesome.
I love it.
And that's what the difference is of just reading PD because you feel like this is the book I should read for my business. The PD is personal development. Sometimes you can never read anything that has to do with business. You're building yourself as a person. So what you need to do is figure out, did you call me, honey? Okay, he's not talking to me. So he's on the phone. I'm like, talking to me? So for PD, for personal development, you need to find and pick a book that's going to help you with whatever you're going through at that point in your life. That's why I picked that Expectation Hangover. When I saw Jen post it, I'm one that I set expectations for people in my life because I know what they're capable of, and I believe in them so much. I end up setting an expectation of what I want them to do because I believe so much, and then they don't feel that, and then I feel let down. But the person really didn't do anything to let me down. It's because I know what they're capable of, so I want it so badly for them. So I wanted to learn how to not do that, because then it makes me feel sad because I'm like, oh, but I know they can do this or, whatever. And I don't want to feel let down by my friends or family or whatnot. I set expectations for myself. That's one thing. Those are goals. But I shouldn't set them for other people. They should set their own, So when Jen posted that book, that's why I got it. And it's really helped a lot. So I find that if you find a personal development book, Kayla looks super cute today. When I find a personal development book that actually fits what I need in my life at that time, it's amazing how much it helps. You know, not just reading a book because somebody else posts about a person book they're reading, helping them. Because
that's what I was doing for a really long time.
Right, that's what I was doing too. And then I started just finding books of what I need. And then I keep a list of my books and what that book was about. So when somebody else needs a recommendation for something they're going through in life, I can recommend a book for them.
And it's really funny because like when I'm talking to people, a lot of times I don't talk to them about getting their fitness journey started. Like that's not my primary focus. I lead with personal development because that's what for me changed everything. Like I make it like if I were like Carl Deichler, like I wouldn't have personal development on like number 3 as our vital behaviors or 4. It would be number 1.
Yep.
Because when it's number 1 and you realize that it's number 1, and I always tell them, I can recommend you books, but I'm not in your brain. So you have to, if you tell me like what's going on, like where's your roadblock, I can suggest books. But but other than that, you have to talk about what speaks to you. You know, if you're a product of alcoholic parents, there are books for that. If you're a product of bad relationships, there are books for that. And don't think that those parts of your characteristics aren't like building blocks for where you're at today, because if you sit down and realize that everything goes back to personal, that's why there's that joke of, it all began when,
right?
Because that's what it is.
What book?
So until I found books,
right?
I was gonna say until I found books that talk to me. Oh my God, I have a bazillion.
No, what are you reading right now? You already told me, Tara, what you're reading. Natalie, what PD book are you doing right now?
Oh, I have some here, but there was one that I got to find it. There's one that I want to get that I'm like actually interested in reading.
Then that's
I forget the name of it.
Start it. You need to do the one that you're interested in. The ones that you're just reading to read, push those aside.
Right.
Because they're not going to help you. You're just doing a task that's wasting your time.
I know, because I have so many books that I've done that, like, and I've got through only a couple chapters, but what was the one that we all did? What's her name?
What, like the Champagne Diet one?
No, that one was good too.
Kate Hudson?
Yes, Kate Hudson. So it's like I was really excited to read the Kate Hudson.
I like that book. Christina, what one are you reading right now?
I just started the Subtle Art of Not Giving a...
Oh, that's right. You posted about that. That book was awesome. I remember.
I think that... Yeah, I think that that's my problem, and like what happens to me is that I build up all this momentum, and I'm like, wow, this month's gonna be great. I have this person, and then they fall out. So, and then I let that affect me, and then when I let that affect me, then I think, hey, I'm doing something wrong. This isn't for me. Like, so I have to learn just how to take the no as a no and just move on, and just
Have
understand.
you read Go for No, Christina?
I think I downloaded that one.
That's a
also.
Good one.
Seriously, if it's an Audible book, you'll get through it in like an hour.
I think that's the one I have. Does it start out with him like telling a story?
I believe so. I listened to
look. Okay.
But that one, even Alex got something out of that Go for No book. So when you're done with
and
this
it's so
book,
short.
Yeah, listen to Go for No when you're done with that book. But I know what you're talking about.
Right.
And the book you're reading right now is going to help you with it, because like the girl that just that I signed up in the car, I sent her the link for the discount coach sign up. She only did the coach sign up and didn't finish the challenge pack order. So I had to get on Coach Relations. It was 11 o'clock at night. I'm on Coach Relations with her on 3-way fixing it. I've been talking to her for a little over a year. She went into the group because her daughter added her. So I added her as a friend. We've been chatting. She always had every excuse why she didn't want to do anything. And then she always told me no, but I always just would go back and resend it to her and re-invite her. I would just keep inviting her. And she'd be like, no, I'm not ready at this time. And I'll ask, is it okay if I keep you posted each month of what I have going? So when they say no, ask them, is it okay if I keep you posted? And then you won't feel so bad keeping them in the loop. And then that'll make you feel a little better of, okay, it's just a not right now. It's not really a no. It's really a not right now if they're saying, yes, keep me posted each month and let me know what you're doing.
Right. Okay, get out there. Yeah, and I think like Tara said, like her why of, not feeling appreciated at your job or not, just everything going, whereas she took it and used it as a drive to start. I kind of did the opposite, where I let myself be engulfed in it and just kind of fell into that whole like negative spiral.
Well, I have to tell you, it's that I got pissed off one day.
Yeah. Yeah. And instead of me getting pissed off, because I'm not like a fiery, like, oh, I'm going to kick ass. I'm more of like, I let it affect me personally. So I'm like one of those people that like, I'll turn to, okay, what am I doing wrong? I'm doing something wrong, when at the end of the day, I should be like, no, I'm good enough. And it's something that they're doing wrong or that they don't see. So it's like, I have those battles too. So that's why I said like, I'm like, now that school's over and school's done, I'm like, all right, this is, this is something that I have to do for myself, and I have to just get right back into it and not let like everything else affect and kind of control. And I fell off the personal development, and that's like a big thing too. I really think, like I haven't been reading it. So like when I downloaded the book, and then I'm like, okay, I have to get back into this.
It's funny because Tanya will always, she somehow, well, not somehow because it's evident, but she always knows when I stop doing my personal development, and like she'll out of the blue, like in the middle of the afternoon, be like, are you reading anything these days? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Because you can see it in the difference in your posts, and you can see it. Oh my God, you're so cute, Lucy. I'm gonna you can see it in the posts. You can see it even in like when you take the pictures, your selfies, you can see it almost in your eyes,
right.
And it's really important. Like even if the personal development you're doing isn't reading a book. Did you get on the call with Lindsay on Monday?
Yes.
Because she was saying how she just puts on a YouTube clip.
I've been doing YouTube since I started working with Mike a couple years ago, because I've had my business for 4 years, but I've really only been building it for 2. I started working with Mike, and that's one thing he told me. He goes, every day, Jennifer and I will go and watch something, that a Scotty YouTube video or a Miguel, anybody. It doesn't even have to be like Les Brown. I always look for Will Smith stuff. That's why, like, sometimes when I find one that really touches me, I'll post it in the team page. You can reach somebody else in that way. Every day I still do that. I go on YouTube and I'll listen to a YouTube video for personal development, something motivating. And then once you start listening to them, YouTube is going to recommend something else, and you might find somebody else that you listen to that
The other thing that I listen to when I'm not necessarily reading anything, I don't know if you have Sirius, nor do I know if you're religious or spiritual, but I listen to Joel Osteen. My husband laughs at me, and he's like, he's a quack, but he speaks to me, and it's easy. Because he has a whole freaking channel on Sirius. So I don't have to look, that's
a good thing
I
too,
feel like, I feel like he takes these spiritual messages, and he takes these, the biblical stories, and he really, for lack of better words, he dumbs them down to everyday, like, practical situations. And although he talks about God, he doesn't talk about God in this like, oh, holy, kind of thing. He talks about how the practical application of goodness just resounds so much in your life. And by making you feel better by making you feel like you are worth something. It just naturally exudes out of you, you know, which is why, I don't know if you heard me tell them, I think that personal development would be number one on the vital behaviors, because I find that whenever I'm not doing the personal development, everything else is on a downward spiral. My workouts are either lazy or non-existent. I don't talk to anybody. I barely, nice, Lou. I barely post at all. Anything that I post is just kind of dragging somebody's stuff into my feed, and it's just kind of riding the wave. And that's when I get discouraged and I feel like I have to start over. I didn't do my call yesterday with Tanya. We did it by text. She asked me what my goals were. My first goal is to stop starting over. Mm-hmm. Because starting from scratch is so fucking hard.
And
you know,
it makes you feel like you've really failed, because if you've been doing it for a long period of time and you have to keep starting over and then starting over again and starting over again, you start to feel like, well, gee, and then you start, like Christina said, you start questioning yourself. Well, should I really even be doing this? Look at how many times I've had to start over. Look at how many times, you know, because trust me, Christina, that never dies. That feeling. I question myself a lot still. Like, is this meant for me? Like, you know, it's towards the end of the month and I don't have my numbers aren't showing all the hard work that I'm putting in. Like, is it really my journey? Or, you know, like, you know, and to be honest, like I've talked to Tara and Natalie about it. Like, I really was down in the dumps for a while when the team, like, it was like we were doing great. I had all these names on the board. And then
break it up a little.
It was like crickets. You know, and sometimes I couldn't even get to respond back to my text messages or my messages. So I started questioning myself. So that'll keep happening throughout your whole journey, questioning yourself. And then something will happen. You'll be like, okay, I am on the right path. It'll keep happening. But personal development will help us with it. So when I start to feel like that, I'm like, I need to read. I need to listen to a book, something.
Can I use that? Like, the hardest part is just getting into the routine. But like, once you're in that routine and you have you know, do your workout the same time every day, no matter what, you make sure that 20, 30 minutes is you. And, you know, I mean, one of my customers, she works out in her bathroom. So she doesn't have the kids bothering her. She works out in her bathroom and then she takes a shower right afterward. But I think that is freaking awesome. But just getting in the routine is the hardest part. But I think once you're in the routine, you feel like everything else is easy.
Yeah, the funny thing is, though, for me, like, I have no problem pushing play, working out. Like, that part's easy. It's the other part. And even the posting, like, is, you know, I'm good at it. It's just
you are good at it.
Just the inviting and the connecting, and that's like where I kind of, and now even like you, Tara, like, that's one thing that I want to stop doing is starting over, because now in my head, I'm like, okay, how am I going to reconnect with those people that I was connected to? And now it's like, okay, I haven't heard from you in like a month. And now I'm like, hi, here I am again. So it's like trying to figure out how to bridge that, you know, that gap of communication. So,
if you want, we could, you know, text each other and stuff. Since we seem to have the same issues.
The accountability partners. But let me share with you guys. Am I cutting in and out?
A little bit.
Okay. Let me share with you guys, and hopefully you'll hear all of it. This is the mindset that I have when that happened to me, because it happened to me because I did not have a follow-up system. So I would go sometimes a year before talking to somebody, because my follow-up system was go to the bottom of my messenger and start chatting with someone. I didn't have a system. So my mindset was, why should I feel horrible about trying to reconnect when I haven't spoken to this person, because they haven't reached out to me to say how I was doing? It's a two-way street, building a relationship with someone. So just because we haven't reached out to them in a long time, they also obviously haven't reached out to us. So you shouldn't feel bad. It should just be send a message of, hey girl, you popped into my mind and I realized we haven't talked for a really long time. I just wanted to say hi and see how things were. Get in the mindset. Don't feel bad, because you're the one reaching out to rebuild the relationship. They haven't reached out to rebuild. So I don't know if you guys got all that or if it cut out or not, but.
It did, but I know what you're talking about.
You know, so just make sure you try to.
Natalie disappeared.
Yeah. Poof. She's gone.
Okay, so speaking of bacon, that's another thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So I not that I want to talk to you about bacon, but I will. Christina, I think that you're probably the only one that doesn't know this. So a couple weeks ago, I went to the doctor and I was like, look, we got to do blood work. I got to figure out why no matter what I'm doing, nothing's happening. So he's like, okay. So we did the blood work. I was convinced that I had a thyroid issue. He runs a thyroid panel. I go back the next week and he's like, your blood work looks better than it ever did. And I got pissed. And he's like, why are you mad about that? I was like, because now I don't have an answer. Like, there's nothing worse to me than not having an answer. So he gave me this medication, Saxenda. He's like, try this, whatever. And I want you to cut your carbs out. And I was like, cut my carbs out? I love my carbs. And he's like, okay, well, you asked me what I thought you should do. You've told me what you've done in the past. This is a change that you haven't done. Let's see how it goes. So I go home. I start taking this medicine. It's an injectable. You start building. You start at this really tiny, minute little dose. And you start at 0.6. And then the next week you go up 0.6 to 1.2, whatever. The 0.6 was awesome. I felt really good. My appetite was curbed. I wasn't eating the carbs. I felt really good, whatever. I had these tiny, bouts of nausea. I'm like, cool. I found what I'm doing. I love it. It's cool. And then the following Monday, I went up the 0.6 to 1.2, and I thought I was going to die. I was so nauseous. I got a migraine that kept me in bed for over a day. And then, I was just like whacked out. So I stopped doing the medication, but I stopped eating carbs other than incidental carbs, and fruit. I'll eat fruit and stuff like that, but like no bread, no pasta, no potatoes, none of that. And I started that 2 weeks ago and I'm down 6 pounds.
I'm going to start. Carbs like stick to me.
Me too. I didn't know that though. I never knew, the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start kind of doing elimination. So now I stopped doing the carbs and I'm working towards phasing out dairy because I'm trying to get rid of all the inflammation. But the only problem is with not doing the carbs, you have to find fat somewhere, and it's very easy to find the fat in the dairy. So I don't know. I wanted to take it one step at a time because I didn't want to. I have always been a very, what's the word that I'm looking for? Like drastic person, and I'll cut everything out. And then I feel like crap, and then I stop, and then I feel like I failed. So that I'm in the start over mode. So now I'm doing, I always tell people, oh, you got to make little changes. And then I would make these monumental changes and they don't work, so now I'm taking like my own advice and making these little changes, and it's working really well.
That's great.
That's awesome, Tara. And last we spoke, it was 4 pounds. So you've lost 2 more pounds.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Good.
I've almost lost all my birthday weight gain.
By the way, I love the rolling down the hill video.
Well, that was Suzanne, but that was so funny.
I knew it wasn't you, but I thought it was so funny that you guys were doing that.
Yeah, so I didn't want to do the 3-day refresh because I knew usually when I gain like quick weight like this, like I know that I could lose that quick, so whatever. So I don't want to waste my 3-day refresh on that. So I'm going to do that after Sean Week.
The 3-day refresh makes me the angriest person in the world.
Oh.
So, I don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I probably would be better on the reset than the refresh. Because the refresh, like, I want to punch
I
babies.
don't know. They say that the reset, I didn't really, there was one day that I got very emotional, but they say that you definitely, they warn you that your emotions can be like all out of whack.
Mm-hmm. That didn't happen to me the first time I did the reset, but the second time I did the reset, I was having a hard time, like, emotionally.
Yeah.
At the beginning. And then after I got through that, like, the first, I think it was like the first 3 or 4 days, then I was fine. I think I was actually texting Tara, and I was like, I think this is because of the reset that I'm feeling like this.
Yep. My hair looks like, I don't know, like I got cotton balls on my head.
All right, cool. Does anybody else have?
So what are you guys doing today in Tennessee?
I'm going to go take my shower in a couple minutes because Alex has a guy that's a cornmeal dealer in South Carolina is here this weekend. So they're going to go ride in the mountains. And his wife, who's one of my new neighbors, me, her, and the kids are going to go downtown Gatlinburg and do shopping and whatever fun stuff's down there. And then they'll meet us for lunch, and then we'll do some moonshine tasting, buy some new moonshine for the house, that kinds of stuff. Hi, Lou.
Awesome.
Does she have her cute outfit on?
Yeah, she does.
I don't want to put my cabbage in the picture.
You can't see it.
She's so cute. Look at how cute Lucy.
Yeah. It's really big on her, but
It looks
it's
cute.
so cute.
Adorable. All right, guys, I'm going to sign the call off so I can get in the shower before she gets here. But again, thank you for getting on the call because I know sometimes it's not easy on the weekends to do all that kinds of stuff. But
Hi, my right guy. What's going on? Hi.
I'm
I'm going to miss you in New Orleans.
I know. Tara's going to miss you guys.
My backseat buddy.
Goodbye.
Our backseat buddy. All right, guys, have a good rest of your day. Natalie, thank you so much.
Vito goes, that doesn't sound good.
What happened?
No problem.
I said my backseat buddy. Vito goes, that does not sound good.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right, guys, bye.